Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Felicia Perez. I am an author. I am the writer of my book. It is called My Unheard Voice. This is what it looks like. It is based on my 7 years of childhood sexual abuse. I go into detail into many different stories and many different instances that happened regarding my abuse, along with my thought process and everything that happened kind of behind the scenes. I also go into a lot of my adulthood and pretty much the long-term effects of childhood sexual abuse. So in this video I'm going to go into chapter 4, which is focused on the ages of 10 and 11. My very first chapter, I do have a video on that chapter. That chapter is focused on my 10th birthday party, and I go into the story surrounding my 10th birthday party and everything that happened on that day. So chapter 4 kind of goes into what happened after my 10th birthday party, or after my 10th birthday, and kind of what happens during those 2 years. So I'm going to go into that. Again, my book is on Amazon. It's available in ebook, paperback, and hardcover. And I do have some signed copies available if anybody wants one of those. So let me go into chapter 4. So after my 10th birthday party, months later, that home that my mother lived in at the ranch burned down to the ground. And when I think about it, I kind of think that the evil along with that house burned down to the ground. That house had, a lot of memories, a lot of bad memories, and a lot of things happened in there. But then when I think about it, it didn't get much better after that. It got worse. So after my 10th birthday party, my mother moved into town away from, living out in the country. They moved into town. And, they moved into an apartment, and I was able to spend more time with her there since they lived closer, to where I lived with my father. So I was able to, go more often, go in the evenings and, weekends, and, I spent more time there with her. But along with that came, more abuse, of course. So, my abuser, in my opinion, he liked routines. And he liked, to do the same things over and over. It was like, he stuck to routines. So one of the new routines that came along with living in the new house was our nighttime MASH shows. He was a big fan of MASH. And to this day, I cannot even hear the theme song to MASH because it freaks me out. So our nightly routine was he would lay on the floor, cover himself with a blanket and a pillow, and as soon as the MASH theme song came on, he would call me to go over and lay down with him and watch MASH. And of course I didn't want to. I was a child. Who in the hell would want to watch MASH? But I knew what he wanted, so it was a lot more than just MASH. So when MASH would come on, he would make me go and lay down with him while my mom, went to take a shower or, go to bed or whatever. And, so as soon as I would walk over to him, my anxiety worsened. I started freaking out, I started sweating. I was full of anxiety all the time. But walking towards him, seeing him on the floor, laying down, covered in a blanket, just put me into a panic. Because I knew that there was nothing I could do to stop it. There was nothing I could do, to say I didn't want to. I couldn't say I didn't want to because it would just be worse on me. He would make it harder on me. He would make it hurt more than it had to. So I would listen to him, and I would go and I would lay down next to him. He always had, his shorts already down, with his penis in his hand. And, he would make me get under the blanket with him. He was always so hot and so sweaty, and just the smell from his breath and the cigarettes, it grossed me out. So I would try to hold my breath. I would try to not even breathe in because I didn't want to smell him. But I did what he said. It was always the same thing. He would pull my shorts down, he would pull my panties down, and he would lift my shirt. And he always said that he never took my shirt completely off in case my mother walked back in. He could easily pull my shirt down, and she would never know the difference. And, during the time when this happened, I always wished that my mom would come back, to the kitchen to get some water or to get something to drink or to get a snack or, whatever. I just wished that she would always come in for something, and catch us and, say like, what are you doing? I always wished that would happen, but it never did. So most of the time, it's the same routine. He would stick his fingers inside of me. He would, force my hand on his penis. He would, kiss my entire face from my nose down to my chin. And it was pretty much the same thing, over and over. And I started zoning out. And, it's common with sexual abuse victims because you don't want to be in the moment. So I would, they say that most people focus, on the smallest thing in the room to keep your mind focused on something instead of what was happening. And it's true. That is what I would do. I would focus on the tiny corner of the TV screen. I could hear MASH playing in the background. I could hear his moaning. I can hear, him whispering, but I wasn't there. I wasn't responding. I wasn't there. I was zoning into the tiny corner of the TV screen. I wasn't watching MASH. I wasn't watching anything. It was dark in the room. I was just focused on the tiny corner. If I could just focus on that tiny corner, the abuse would be over sooner. He would do what he was going to do. He would be done quick, and then I could go wash up and I could go to bed. So I would focus on the TV screen. I would focus on that tiny corner. And I did that many, many, many times during that year. And he never cared. He never, tried to stop. He never said like, he never asked if he was hurting me. He never asked anything because he didn't care. And, I didn't expect him to care. He had already done many horrible things to me before this, so I didn't expect any different. So this went on for a long time until they moved out. In my next video, I am going to talk more about what happened after they moved out, because there is a lot that happened then also. Thank you for watching my video. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Of course, you can comment on my video. You can, share my videos. I would appreciate it if you could please like and subscribe to my videos so I can know that my videos are, reaching people. My goal is to raise awareness and to make my story heard. And I will do whatever I need to do to make my story heard. So thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye.